found out that my wife was cheating on me with her work colleague. My house has always been a place of order. I'm a restorer of antique clocks. I spend my days in a world of gears, escapements, and precise, predictable movements. My wife, Alina, is the opposite. She's a high-level marketing executive, a woman of noise, energy, and constant motion. For 12 years, I thought we were the perfect balance, my silence to her sound. I thought the foundation of our life was as solid as the oak cases I work on every day. Of lately, the timing of our life has been off. It started with a change in the atmosphere. You know that feeling when a room is too quiet? Not a peaceful quiet, but the kind that feels like a held breath. Alina started coming home at 9 p.m. smelling not of her usual vanilla perfume, but of cedar and rain. She stopped telling me about her meetings. She stopped complaining about her boss. Instead, she started talking about a new project lead named Simon. "He's brilliant, David," she'd say, her eyes fixed on her phone screen instead of my face. "He sees things in the market that no one else does. We're going to be spending a lot of late nights at the office to get this pitch ready." I'm a man of patience. I didn't question her. I'd just nod, pour her a glass of wine, and watch her retreat into the guest bedroom because she didn't want to wake me up when she inevitably fell asleep at her laptop. I spent months sleeping in an empty bed, listening to the rhythmic ticking of the clocks in the hallway, unaware that every second was a countdown to the end of my life as I knew it. The discovery didn't happen because I was looking. It happened because of a forgotten umbrella. Last Tuesday, a torrential downpour hit our town. Alina had left for work in a hurry, leaving her heavy professional umbrella on the stand. I decided to be the good husband. I drove to her office building, thinking I'd surprise her with lunch and a dry walk to her car later. I didn't go to the reception desk. I have a security badge from the time I restored the grandfather clock in their lobby. I took the elevator to the 14th floor. The office was eerily empty. Most of the team was at a team-building retreat in the woods, or so Alina had told me. She was supposed to be the only one left behind to finish the paperwork. As I approached her corner office, I heard music. It wasn't the aggressive, upbeat pop she usually worked to. It was slow jazz, the kind of music we danced to at our wedding. I stopped at the heavy glass door. Through the slight gap, I saw her. She wasn't at her desk. She was sitting on the sofa in the corner of the room, her head thrown back, laughing, and Simon, the project lead, was sitting next to her. His hand wasn't on a laptop. It was on her inner thigh, sliding upward under her skirt with a familiarity that made my stomach turn into a block of ice. "He has no idea," Simon whispered, his voice carrying through the quiet office. "He's probably at home right now, polishing a gear and waiting for his hard-working wife to come home." Alina leaned in and kissed him. It wasn't a mistake. It wasn't a moment of weakness. It was a hungry, practiced kiss. "David is a good man," she murmured against his lips. "But he's a ghost, Simon. He's part of the furniture. You're the only thing that makes me feel like I'm actually standing in the sun." I didn't storm in. I didn't drop the umbrella. I felt this strange, cold clarity settle over me. I backed away, step by agonizing step, and took the elevator down to the lobby. I walked out into the rain, letting the water soak through my clothes, and I sat in my car for 3 hours. I watched them leave together at 2 p.m. I watched him open the door for her, and I watched her look at him with a light in her eyes that had been dark for me for years. I waited for Friday. I wanted the house to be perfect. I spent the entire day cleaning. I polished every clock until the brass shone like gold. I made a 3-course dinner. I set the table with the fine china we only use for Christmas. When Elena walked in at 8:30 p.m., she looked startled. "David, what's all this?" "I told you I had a late meeting." "The meeting was canceled," I said. My voice was as steady as a pendulum. "I went to the office on Tuesday to bring you your umbrella. I saw you, Elena. I saw the project you and Simon have been working on." She didn't deny it. She didn't even have the decency to look ashamed. She just dropped her bag on the floor and let out a long, jagged breath. "I was going to tell you, David, I swear. It happened. We've been together for 8 months. 8 months," I repeated. "While I was making your dinner, while I was repairing your jewelry, while I was waiting for you in an empty bed." "You don't understand," she suddenly screamed. She was pacing the kitchen now, her hands flaying through the air. "You're so still. You're so quiet. I feel like I'm suffocating in this house. Everything has to be perfect. Everything has to be in its place. And I needed to breathe. Simon makes me breathe." "So you decided to burn the house down so you could feel the wind?" I asked. She stopped pacing. She looked at me, and for the first time I saw the woman I'd married. The noise, the energy. But it was ugly now. It was selfish. "I'm not apologizing for finding happiness, David. I've spent 12 years being the sound to your silence. I'm done. I want a divorce." "You want a divorce?" I asked. I stood up and walked to the sideboard. I picked up a small velvet box. Inside was a necklace. I'd spent 6 months saving for a restoration of an 18th century locket she'd seen in a museum once. I didn't give it to her. I walked to the trash can and dropped it in. I'm a clockmaker, Elena. I notice when things are missing. I noticed the business expenses you've been charging to our joint credit card for the last year. The hotels in the city. The dinners at the Five Seasons. I've already sent the itemized list to your firm's ethics board. Simon is married, isn't he? She froze. You wouldn't. I already did, I said. I called his wife, Claire, yesterday. She's a lovely woman. She had no idea her husband was leading a project with my wife. She's currently at your office, speaking with your CEO. The explosion was absolute. Alina lunged for me, screaming that I was destroying her career, that I was evil, that I was pathetic. She threw a wine glass at the wall, and the sound of the shattering crystal felt like the only honest thing in the room. You didn't find happiness, Elena, I said as she collapsed into a chair, sobbing. You found an escape, but escapes have a price, and you just hit the limit. She left that night. She went to Simon's apartment only to find his things on the sidewalk and the locks changed. He didn't want a new life with her. He wanted a secret. The second the secret was gone, he was gone too. The divorce took a year. Because of the financial records I'd meticulously kept, she didn't get the house. She didn't get the anniversary settlement she thought she was entitled to. She lost her job at the firm when the ethics investigation revealed she'd been using the corporate card to fund her affair. I'm sitting in my workshop right now. It's midnight. The house is silent, but for the first time the silence doesn't feel heavy, it feels clean. I look at the clocks on the wall, all ticking in perfect unison. People ask me if I'm lonely, I tell them no. I'd rather be alone in a house that's honest than be surrounded by the noise of a beautiful lie. Alina is living in a studio apartment now, working a mid-level job she hates. She sent me a letter last month saying she misses the peace of our home. I didn't write back. I just put the letter in the fireplace and watched it turn to ash. The time for us has run out, and for the first time in 12 years. I'm the one who's finally, mercifully, in control of the gears.